Hello everyone, my name is DonLeon. I'm an MTT coach of the Academy of Poker. Our today's topic is basics of MTTs, and I hope that you'll enjoy our today's lesson. So let's start. But first let me show you some slides about our MTT course, because today's lesson is the first from all of them. So today we'll be talking about the basics of multi-table tournaments. As you can see, it is today. Tomorrow we'll be talking about strategy for MTTs, and at the end of today's lesson I'll show you a little bit more info about it. Then simple poker math, poker software, hand review, and the most important in our MTT course are these two individual lessons. These lessons will be about all the questions that you need to solve. We can make a hand reviews, we can try to find some leaks in your database, even we can try live sessions, whatever you want. And all these lessons are included in our MTT course. So let's move back to our today's topic. Hello Ali Manen, glad to see you. So basic info. What is MTT? Multi-table tournament is a tournament in which the game is played simultaneously at multiple tables until the final table is reached. I see first question, what are the main advantages of MTTs? So for me, MTTs, it's like a sport game, because only here you can try to reach the first place to get some huge prizes and be the first among other players. Because for example in cash, you're like a hunter, you are hunting the fishes and that's all. You're just only hunting for money but not for glory, and that's why I like MTTs more. So the main difference between cash and MTTs, except of that glory, is that you pay in MTTs entry fee once. You receive chips and then you change them for money according to your finishing place after your bust. And in cash game you always play with real money. What is important about it? That's if you are a newbie player, if only starting your poker career and you don't know what is bankroll management or all that stuff, you can lose your money when you'll be playing cash game. If for example something will be wrong. For example, you have lost 2 coin flips in a row, and you think, okay, in that case, I'll try to earn something on higher limits. In MTTs, of course, it's possible to get some money from more expensive tournaments, but it's more difficult in comparison with the cash games. That's why I prefer MTTs, and I suggest you to prefer MTTs. Let's talk a little about types of multi-table tournaments. First, and the most easiest way to play MTTs is to play freeze-out tournaments, where a player is eliminated when all his chips are gone. And as for me, I think that freeze-outs are more suitable for new players, for newbie players, because if you have an opportunity to make a re-entry and you're a professional one, in some unlucky moments you can just do that re-entry. So in the late stages of tournaments, you'll be facing the situation where all the fishes, all the recreational players are gone and only reg players left. So in that case, you can face with the huge problems. Yeah, here we are. So it was about freeze out, and it was not so good, really. Next type of MTT is a rebuy. The main difference here is that it is allowed to purchase more chips if you are busted or you have a low stack. And also there is usually an add-on possible, where you can just play for hour or 2 hours, and after that you can just try to buy some more chips. And if for example starting stack is 5k, for example, add-on must be 20k or something. So it's really important to be alive till that add-on period and to make it. Because some players are trying to play rebuy tournaments with the plan that, okay, seems like it's not my limit, but I'll not do a re-entry, I'll not do any add-ons, I'll just play with one buy-in. But the problem here is that your opponents will do that. They will do that add-on, and they will be having more chips than you. And it's really difficult to play if you're out of chips. It's obvious, but it's important. If you're a beginner, I have a small rule for you. Just try to stick to only one rebuy and one add-on, not to crush on bankroll. Because some players are having some problems with the discipline, and after some unlucky coin flip or something, they can just lose all their money doing that rebuys unlimited quantity of times. And if you're an experienced person, you can use more rebuys if needed. But I would suggest you just to have a rule, for example, no more than 4 entries, including add-on. And in that case, it's less possible that you lose a lot of buy-ins in one poker tournament. We have one more question. What kind of tournaments do you prefer to play? I prefer to play small tournaments, freeze outs, and also I like KO tournaments. We'll be talking about them right now. KO tournaments where prize pool is divided into 2 parts. First part is distributed like in a freeze out, and the second part is a KO. It's a KO part. If you knock another player, you'll get his bounty. If you cover your opponent, you need to show aggression, because you can fight for that second part of the prize pool. And also, small tip about KO tournaments, you can just try to be confident pre-flop, because most players, they just like to flat a lot, to see the flop, and try to get rid of their opponents. But if you're flatting, you're spending chips for it, and it's not so easy to hit the board every time. And the problem here is that, for example, after 5 or 6 flats, like I was describing right now, if you'll be all in with your opponent, it can be a situation where you are not covering him for 100 chips, 200 chips. So the problem is that you're not fighting for his bounty. That's the point. That's why you should be really confident pre-flop and be really aggressive if you're covering your opponent and you have a good hand. One more question, and also, if I go to your course, how much money can I win during one session? Look, it really depends. It depends on how many tournaments do you used to play, how big are your buy-ins, and normally MTT players are not calculating their winnings during one session, because there is a dispersion and all that stuff. I'll show you what I mean. And it's more profitable maybe just for yourself to calculate your winnings for 1 month or for 2 months. So that would be much easier for you to understand and for your brain to understand. So yeah, during one session you can win a lot and you can lose a lot. And I prefer to calculate not in money but in buy-ins. For example, for the first place you can win 300 or 400 buy-ins in your tournament. So a little math about KO tournaments, because our today's lesson should be really important and really useful for you. So if you're playing KO tournament and you'll compare it with the freeze out, you need to calculate your opponent's chip stack according to the bounty, and because of the sum, you'll get your new pot odds. So in general, start bounty is 25% of the buy-in, and it is 25% of the starting stack. So let's talk about the simple example. $11 MTT, $1 rake, and $5 are going to normal price pool, and $5 are going into bounty price pool. And for your head, you're having $2.5. And $2.5 are going to your opponent if he'll bust you. So let's see the example where we have 5k starting stack, And our opponent is going all in for 1k from small blind. And we are playing 100 big blinds, so he's shoving 10 big blinds. And his bounty is a starting bounty of $2.5. In that case, you have 1.1k in the pot, and you have to call 900 chips to fight for that stack, for that bounty. And your normal pot odds would be calculating like the amount of chips to call divided by the total pot, so 45%. And if you'll add the bounty, look at your pot odds. They'll be 28%. But still, feel the difference. It's only just because of the KO. Some players are getting angry because they are seeing that calls with some trash hands for the bounty, and they are starting to tilt because how can you call with 7 use off? But if you have really good price, you have to call because of math, not because you're mad. Yeah, it's really important, and you need to change your strategy a little for KO tournaments. You need to calculate your pot odds in a little bit different way. Yeah, and as I said, bounties allow you to call more than you should. Next type of tournament is satellite, where a player can win a ticket into a larger tournament online or offline. I have really big amount of students who just they just have a dream to visit some offline series of poker, like in Barcelona, in Prague, or in Vegas, who knows. And it's really expensive to go to that tournaments, because you don't need only to make a buy-in. You also need to pay for transportation, for living, for eating, for all that stuff. And using the satellites, you can be free from all that expenses. If we'll be talking not about offline but about online, you can try to qualify to big tournaments without stepping out of your bankroll. Because, except, let's talk about Sunday Million a little. I think you have known about it. For example, this Sunday Million was in a KO variant. So some of my students on Monday, they just text me that, Leo, I just spent hundreds of dollars into that Sunday Million. I know that it's not my limit, but I just do want to take part in that tournament because it was a KO. Normally it's a freeze out. And it would be better to try satellites instead of trying to put a huge amount of your bankroll into one tournament, because dispersion in MTTs could be really crucial. Be careful here. Yeah, and about live tournaments, as I said, you can win not only a place, you can win not only a ticket, but also some money for expenses. And if, for example, we'll compare Party Poker and PokerStars, on PokerStars you can win a ticket plus 2, 5, 6 days of accommodation in some hotel. And if you're winning some satellites on Party Poker, you're winning not tickets, but Party Poker Live dollars. And I'll tell you a little bit later about it, and we'll know what is it. So percentages, what is your ITM in percentages? According to my statistics, I have 23, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. And normally ITM percentage must be from 21, 22 till 25. If your ITM percentage is higher, then yeah, you are doing right. But we are talking about MTTs. It's important, because if you're playing, for example, heads up sitting goes, yeah, in that case your ITM percentage should be a little bit higher. And how often do you reach the final table? The next question. It really depends. Really, I didn't calculate the frequencies, but I would say that maybe 10 or 11% from all my tournaments are finishing in the top 10% of players. It's not final table, but it's a deep run. And the final tables, yeah, it really depends on average field size, so I don't have that info. How much time do I need to start winning? You know, you can visit our course and you can learn all the theory during a little bit more than 1 week. But you need to play a lot, you need to work hard, and you can start winning almost in the next day after our course. But it will be like a lucky strike. And if you want to earn money and you need some like stable money getting from poker, you need to keep going, you need to keep learning, and in that case, yeah, you can study for years. But minimum amount of time that you need to start winning is at least 1 week. Okay, let's move on. Bankroll management. I have talked a little about it. And what is it? Bankroll management helps us to protect ourselves from losing our bankroll. It means how many buy-ins do we need to have in our bankroll so that we'll be protected from dispersion. And minimum amount that we are recommended is at least 200 buy-ins. But again, it depends on different stuff. I'll show you, because we'll look at primedope.com site and I'll show you how it can be calculated. But if you just don't want to get deep into that stuff and you just want to have some advices or some tips, just remember that the minimum amount of buy-ins you need to have is 200. And if you're playing turbo or hyper turbo entities, it should be even more, about 300 buy-ins. As for me, I have almost 600 buy-ins bankroll management because I am playing poker professionally and I cannot afford myself to lose all my bankroll. So I'm really confident here. So let's look this website, primedope.com, and I'll show you how dispersion works. So here you can see, again, primedope.com, it's tournament variance calculator. There, on the first part of that website, you can put in the info about the tournaments you're playing. Let's say that you are playing Sunday tournaments. So the number of players, I would say, maybe 3K. Now, payout structure. Normally it's close to 12% or something. Let's say that we are playing micro stakes and the buy-in would be $5 and the fee is half of the dollar. And our ROI. Not every player knows his ROI because you need to play a lot of tournaments, and it's like a small rule or small tip that if you want to know your personal ROI, you need to play at least 3 or 4 average field sizes. So if, for example, you're playing on Sundays and your average field size in your normal tournaments is higher than 3,000 tournaments, to know your ROI, you need to play at least 12K tournaments. And if you're playing, I don't know, 5 tournaments in a week, just calculate how many weeks do you need to know, to get some info about your real ROI. So I'll tell you like an average numbers, and in average ROI is close to, on this average buy-in, is close to 20-25%. Let's say that we are playing with 20% ROI. And we are playing like a regular player, at least 400 tournaments a month. Let's create a big sample size. And we are clicking on calculate button. Let's give him a couple of seconds to calculate that stuff. And we'll see the results. Yes, I can see something wrong. You can calculate it. Yeah, let's reboot. Seems like we need some help from that website. It's lagging. Let's close it and open again. That's it. Let's do all the stuff again. So 3K. 12% buy-in, ROI, and 400, and let's say let it be. Yeah, that's it. And now you can scroll down and look here. I hope that you can see. Yeah, nice. So approximately, according to our ROI, we must win a little bit less than $500 during the month. But look here, please. With 95% confidence, we can face with that swings. They could be like upswings for more than $4,000, and they could be downswings for more than minus 1.2 thousand. So if we'll calculate it according to our average buy-in is $5. Look how many buy-ins can we lose if we are playing high average field size tournaments and we are playing not so many tournaments with pretty small ROI. If, for example, we'll change a little and we'll say that we are playing with a select, so we are playing low average field size tournaments for example, 600 players, same prize pool structure, buy-in, same ROI. Okay, I just decreased the number of players. And in that case, look, you can lose only 800. So that's why we have to be careful with the bankroll. And the minimum amount if you're playing high average field size tournaments is at least 200 buy-ins. I think it's pretty easy to understand how to work with that website. If you have any questions, you can visit our group course, you can visit our individual lessons, and we'll talk about it. So let's move back to our presentation. I hope now you know how dispersion looks like. Yeah, that was the perfect situation where you're playing multi-table sit-and goes, and yeah, in that case, your downswings will be a little bit less than it was shown on the previous website. Next question is, where can I play? But first, let me talk with you guys a little. It was a question about how can I play MTTs without bankroll management? You know, you can play without bankroll management, but you can lose all your money. So I don't recommend my students to play without bankroll management, and I'm trying to be really strict about it. So if my student is texting me in Skype or somewhere and telling about his mistakes with the bankroll, I'm getting angry and we are talking in a high voices with him, because I don't prefer it and my students shouldn't, because we should be professionals and we need to stick to our bankroll management. And I hope that you'll play with a pretty nice bankroll management too. So at least 200 buy-ins. Remember, guys, it's important. So let's continue. Where can we play? Here you can see a small table where I have prepared 4 new interesting rooms for me. First, PokerStars and some advantages. The most important is high quality software and high guaranteed prize pools. What does it mean, prize pool, guaranteed prize pool? If we are talking about the live events or online events, it's pretty same. And the point here is that, for example, you have a tournament with a $10 buy-in, and organizers are saying that we are guaranteed $100 prize pool, and there are only 5 players, so they have put in only $50, but it was guaranteed 100. And in that case, that additional $50 will be paid by organizers, by Poker Room or whoever. So that means that the prize pool is guaranteed, and on PokerStars that guaranteed prize pools are really huge. So next advantage here is that on PokerStars you can find tournaments for every bankroll you have. You can play micro stakes, high stakes, mid stakes, nano stakes, whatever you want, because they are really providing the, I don't know, the widest range of tournaments. Among disadvantages, I would say about strong players, because everybody wants to play with that good software and high prize pools. And also, second disadvantage is high average field size. As you were seeing on our previous slide, if you're playing high average field size tournaments, you can lose a lot, more than 600 buy-ins, and it's important, yeah. So next poker room is party poker. The main advantage of party poker for me is an opportunity to hit an overlay. Overlay means when the quantity of players are playing, they didn't put all the money that they need to cover the guaranteed prize pool. So, like, maybe it will be not good words, but like we are stealing a little from the poker room, because he has guaranteed a huge amount of money and there are not so many players for that prize pool. The next point here is rakeback. What does it mean, rakeback? When you're playing MTTs or cash or something, you are paying a small amount of money for taking part in all that poker game. For example, if you're playing a $10 MTT, $11 MTT, you're paying $1 as a rake. It is taken by poker room, and $10 are going to the prize pool. So that $1 means rake, and poker rooms, using some bonuses or some loyalty programs, is given back to you, to players. And different rooms provide different percentages of that rakeback. And for example, on PokerStars, with that chests, you can have a rakeback of 3% or something. And for example, on Party Poker, in that Diamond Club, you can get until 40% rakeback. It's really a huge amount, but you need to be careful that to get that percentages, you need to generate at least $1,000 rake per week, yeah. So if you're playing micro stakes, you will definitely not have such good rakeback. But at least you have an opportunity, because on PokerStars you don't have it. Next advantage, low average field size. We've been talking about it, and weak players. Yeah, normally on PokerStars are playing a little bit stronger players. And next advantage is Party Poker Live dollars. I've been talking a little about that Party Poker Live dollars in our previous slides about satellites. Party, they have created their own currency. It is called Party Poker Live dollars, and you can pay using that Party Poker Live dollars not only for tournaments, not only for the buy-ins, but also for a living. For example, this summer I was traveling to Rozvadov in Czech Republic, and I was playing some tournaments. And I have some Party Poker Live dollars, and I have paid not only for the buy-ins, but also for my hotel. So yeah, it's really useful to have that currency, because for example, if you are playing satellites on PokerStars and you are winning a ticket, you need to pay additional money for the living. And in case of Party, you don't need. Disadvantage, unstable schedule. Yeah, it's important for professionals, because if you're a professional, you need to know exactly what tournaments are you going to play today, tomorrow, and next week. And Party Poker, they're changing their schedule almost every second week. But maybe in the future they'll create something stable, but I'm not sure in it. So let's do a little pause about some questions. Where do you prefer to play PokerStars and Party Poker? You know, I'm playing both. I'm playing PokerStars and Party Poker. But starting from maybe last 2 months, I prefer PokerStars, because on Party Poker statistics is turned off, so it's not so easy to analyze your game. That's why I prefer PokerStars here. But also I continue playing on Party. Is it possible to be banned in poker room for some? Yeah, sure. You can be banned if you are cheating. And you can cheat in different ways. You can use mining, you can watch your opponent's cards. If, for example, you're playing from the one room, you can tell your cards to your friends. There are big quantity of tips how to be banned on poker rooms. So be careful and just be careful with all the rules that are in poker rooms. So yeah, it's really possible. And also, if you're banned almost in all the situations, you're losing your money. They're not giving you back. That's bankrolls that you're having in the poker rooms. So next poker room is 3-8 poker, 8-8-8 poker. And advantages: a low average field size, weak players, and also an opportunity to qualify to WSOP. Because 3-8 poker, they are partners with WSOP. Disadvantage: small guaranteed prize pool, yeah. But if you're playing 3-8 poker or during this series, you can find something good according to prize pools. So just be focused on looking through the schedule every week, for example, and just try to find good tournaments for you. I prefer to use multiple rooms because in that case I can choose where I will play and where I not. If, for example, you're playing only party or only PokerStars, it's not so easy to select. Especially as for me, I am playing 10, 12 tables simultaneously, and in that case, I have to have a choice because I play a lot. Normally, my quantity of tournaments that I am playing during one session is at least 50 tournaments. And if I'll be playing only on 3-8 poker, I'll not just find enough tournaments. In that case, I would have to play tournaments from $3 till 55, and it's obvious that it's not so good. It's not a good idea. And the last room here is Natural 8. It is GG network, and there are some advantages. First, low average field size, weak players, if you'll compare it with PokerStars, for example. Also, they are holding many events and competitions. Also, you can try to get good rakeback system. Also, it is important to find a good affiliate, because if you're working with Natural 8 like in a straight way, you're not using any affiliates, you will get some bonuses, but they will not be so huge. So just be careful here. Disadvantages: small guaranteed prize pools again, and narrow schedule. So you cannot play only Natural 8, but you can add it to your regular schedule. So one more question. I am a beginner, want to boost my bankroll. Which tournaments are best for me for this boost? Free rolls. Free rolls are pretty nice for you if you don't want to invest some money. For example, our Academy of Poker is holding its own free rolls with a granted prize pool of $1,000. It means that you don't need to make a deposit, you don't need to make any buy-in, but you can get, for the first place, I would say close to $2 or $2,500. So it's not so bad if you're not paying anything. Also, the average field size of that free rolls, it's not so big, so maybe even I will stream that free roll, and you'll have an opportunity not only to win some money, but maybe you can win some extra money for my head. But we'll see. So yeah, for you, free rolls are pretty nice. Just you can follow us in social networks and you'll find additional info about it, or you can just contact our manager and he'll tell you about that free roll schedule. So a little reminder, we have 4 more lessons to go. Strategy for MTT, it will be tomorrow. Then basics of poker math, poker software, hand review, and the most important, 2 individual lessons. And let me tell you a little about it. First, strategy for entities. We'll be talking about, first, preflop charts. It's too important to know which hands is it allowed to raise or flat call and which are not. And we are giving our students pre-flop charts. They're looking like this: UTG, UTG +1, +2, and for all the positions. Also, we'll add some small blind strategy where you can play not only by raising but also by limping. It's too important. We'll send it to our students. Also, we'll be talking about the bet sizes pre-flop. We'll be talking about the basic strategy. We'll be talking about the strategy on the final tables, how to play with a huge stack, with a small stack, with a mid stack. So we'll have plenty of information tomorrow. Next, basics of poker math. We'll be talking about how to calculate pot odds, SPR, I mean stack to pot ratio, and for example, if we'll talk about pot odds, you'll be having some tips about what are your pot odds according to the bet size. 30%, 50%, and we'll have also pot odds for 75% of pot and for 100% of pot. Next, poker software. We'll be talking about Equilab, we'll be talking about Simple Nash. It looks like that program where you can create quizzes, where you can train yourself in a push-fold situations. I mean, when your stack size is not so huge. And also individual lessons. These lessons can be with me. I'm the first coach of the Academy of Poker, and with our second coach, Marcus Mergis. I think that you know him by our streams. He's streaming on our YouTube channel and in Twitch. And also on his last stream, he has won a tournament. It was a first place and one, if I'm not mistaken, third place during the live stream. So if you still didn't see it, just go to our YouTube channel and try to find that video. It will be interesting. And what you'll get on that individual lessons. First, it will be a league finder. Why league finder is important? Because normally when players are coming to me, to my lessons, they're talking, okay, Leo, I am playing for 3 years, but I am playing close to 0. So I'm not losing, but I can't win, but I want to. Where are my mistakes? And we are working with his database, and we'll work with your database to find some leaks. Also, we can make a hand review. It means that he'll send me plenty of hands, I don't know, 20 or 50, how much hands do you have, I don't know, and we'll be reviewing them. We can just discuss them both, or we can just calculate them using some solvers. We're not talking about only about Flopzilla or ICMizer. Also, we can work with simple post flop. It's like a GTO solver. I know how to work with him, and I can teach you if you're interested in. Next, we can play live sessions. It means that you're playing and I'm watching your playing, and I can give you some advices, and I can find your leaks during that live game. Because some leaks, they cannot be found during database analysis. For example, how do you place your tables on your monitor? Which software do you use while you're playing? How you're choosing your tournaments? All that stuff we can learn during that live sessions. So yeah, it's a possible variant of that individual lessons, and also software questions. In our Russian Academy of Poker, I'm a coach about all the software questions. I know how to work with Hold'em Manager, ICMizer, Flopzilla, Simple Post Flop, Simple Nash, all that stuff. So if you're interested, we can work with you about that software questions. So I think that these individual lessons, they are the most important in all our course, because you can get answers for any question. And some of players, they have problems that maybe they have watched some videos, they have learned some strategy, but they don't know with whom to discuss their decisions. And you can do it during that individual lessons. So in total, again, our MTT course. Today we are talking about the basics of MTTs. Tomorrow we'll be talking about the strategy, then simple poker math, poker software, hand review, and all that theoretical part costs 80 euros. Individual lessons cost 200. So also you'll be given the pre-flop charts that I have shown to you before. So in total, it's almost 300 euros. But today and in this month you can have a discount and you could get it only for 99 euros. So you can see the price, and if you want to get our educational course, if you want to visit me tomorrow and to work together, just hit the link in the description to get that discount. Also, if you're interested, you can just contact our managers. Their Skype also are in the description, and they'll tell you where you can play, which educational courses do you prefer to have, so they can answer any questions. I hope it was interesting for you, and see you in next videos.